Well, I mean, white people crying actually was the goal. We
And here we are again, huh? Yet another supposedly slapdash show constructed on Disney's factory conveyor belt of slop for the masses. But does this one exceed expectations? Twitter would have you believe otherwise, but the swathes of neckbeards and rainbow heads constantly arguing make it difficult to ascertain. Well, the short answer is sort of, kind of, but let's see why, shall we? Well, the show only has 2 episodes out so far, and we can only base a judgment on what we've seen so far. Perhaps in the coming weeks I'll be forced to rescind my points as they pull out peak television. But enough of that, let's briefly cover what the show has to offer so far. The show is set a century before the rise of the Empire, and follows Osha, our main character who has left the Jedi Order and has been working as a mechanic. No, wait, hold on. Sorry. A mechanic for 6 years. She is dragged back into the fray when a rogue force user is discovered and kills a Jedi Master. The story progresses as she is detained, escapes, and then is joined by 3 Jedi, including Sol, her previous master played by Lee Jong-jae, Yord and Jeki, played by Daphne Keane. The 3 realize quickly that it's not her, but in fact her evil twin May, played by the titular actress Amandla Stenberg, who bears a striking resemblance to the actress that plays Osha. May is on a mission for revenge against 4 Jedi who were present on her homeworld when her and Osha's parents were killed in a fire, apparently caused by May herself. So, the show has some positive attributes which on their own would make the show an enjoyable watch. In fact, I'd be lying if I said the show wasn't entertaining. That being said, the show is overall dragged down by a handful of nitpicks and moderate gripes which pile up. Kendrick Lamar's, however, taught me that I need more hate in my heart, so I will focus on the gripes that I have with the show. Though, ever so briefly, I will summarize that the show has some serious drip, and the choreography was tight. Looking at you, Obi-Wan, because Jesus Christ, some Jedi Master you are. Bonus points for the random British guy in space, as well as a yellow lightsaber. Apart from the sometimes questionable intelligence of the main character, and the more questionable simplicity of the script, which has so many convenient follow-ups that I seriously don't understand how he got from Andor to this caveman construction. It follows a specific set of tropes that have just soured in my mouth personally. First off, the antagonist. The whole twin thing, the evil twin thing, might be a cool idea to explore, which definitely has not been done before in Star Wars at all by anyone. And the contrast between light and dark would be pretty cool to delve into, but instead we devolve into a, well, she's a villain, but not really, because catch this, she's just another victim of an oppressive system, and her actions are justified, and she's brave for fighting back. I might be simple for this, but man, I want a few villains who aren't tragic and try to justify their actions through past traumas. I mean, for God's sake, it's Disney. Give me Disney villains who just do heinous shit. We have been on this whole justified villain arc for way too fucking long, and we just need to change it up at this point. Though, that being said, her alluded to master looks pretty neat, and the whole philosophical approach to shattering the dream of the Jedi is pretty bloody rad. For now, May is hogging all the screen time, and I need her to go on demon time. Secondly, man, this whole crap about authority being bad needs to die in a hole. There is a specific quote in the show that sums up basically the entire angle they're trying to go for. Quote, Jedi justify their galactic dominance in the name of peace, and peace is a lie. This whole deconstruction stick is so bloody stupid because it doesn't actually deconstruct anything, it just slaps a bunch of blatantly untruthful tags onto them and say, see, that thing is bad, when those attributes that they've put on them isn't actually part of the original vision at all. In the first episode, we see the 2 Jedi stroll into the ship like they own the place and threaten to use the Force when they didn't get their information. Gone are the days where the Jedi were annoyingly polite and well-mannered, like posh outer space enforcers. Now we have a big bad group of bullies who are bad because they have power, and power is bad, I guess. Well, seems like decent criticism to me. The only time I appreciated this approach in the entire show was in the first episode, where they mention that a Jedi being killed by their own could be weaponized by their political enemies. It foreshadows the descent of the Jedi into becoming overly political figures and their entanglement with the government bodies, which ultimately leads to their demise in the sequel trilogy. or prequel trilogy. Bloody hell. These two major issues with the show, coupled with numerous minor nitpicks, really serve to drag it down. Part of the makeup, for example, looks absolutely atrocious, like, for example, the director's wife that they put in as a grandmaster, or a master, if you will, looks like a shitty porn parody character for Star Wars. And the twins separated for, 16 years in the show, and yet both have the exact same dread hairstyle. As if they haven't been separated in an entire galaxy full of cultures and aesthetics. Jedi with the most silly deductive reasoning I have ever seen. I mean, really, you approach the suspect and apprehend them based on one eyewitness when there are several others on board that same ship that you're on that can support the alibi of the suspect in question. And considering she's on a spaceship where there's bound to be holographic recordings on every end, there's no way that there's not evidence contrary to the accusations. And the fact that they put the aforementioned suspected Jedi killer on an unmanned prison transport ship, unmanned with one droid guard. Like, damn, could you be any more incompetent? It's like you wanted her to escape. And apparently you can be more incompetent because apparently the Jedi needs a group huddle every time they make a decision. Like, you know which Jedi are on the hit list for the Jedi killer. And rather than make moves to protect the next victims who you know who it is, you summon your task force back to headquarters to have a business meeting. You know what? Maybe May over there is right. You fools have got to go. The point at this point is clear. This show suffers from the same lack of due care and attention that a lot of other Star Wars projects, barring Andor, suffer from. Slapped together by Disney to milk the shriveled cow with literally nobody on God's green earth actually wanting this shit. It might even have been something quite good had it had been given a little bit more vision. Rather than chasing tired tropes and silly oversights, instead we have a show which gives us yet another suspend your disbelief and stop thinking to kind of enjoy it show. But you know what? Let them cook. Let's revisit once the series is done airing. One final point, the show clearly deserves the criticism it gets, but good lord, some of these fools are really silly. The complaints I've seen thus far are so infantile, I had to rewatch the show just to really understand how they missed all the legitimate points of complaint that they could have brought up, but zeroed in on the most minor issues possible. For example, complaining about fire in outer space, in a show where people are using laser swords and their minds to move objects and mind wipe people, where there have been fires and explosions in space in the past. Like, lads, the bigger picture here is very obvious and instead you choose to bash on women. Brother, please step outside, touch some grass, and for God's sake, shave that neckbeard you got going on. It does not make you look cool. So yeah, that's Acolyte. Sole best character. He's gonna squid on May. Goodbye.